Preventing child sexual abuse and supporting survivors. These are not small undertakings, but a South Florida nonprofit is working to do just that. This April, Lawrence Kids is hosting its 10th annual statewide walk.
Through every single step we take, our impact and ability to help children has grown. Together, we're shining light in dark places and pioneering generational change. Protecting children.
We're sitting down with the leader of this movement. Let's go on the record.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Nathalie Pozo.
Preventing child sexual abuse and helping survivors heal. That is the mission of Lawrence Kids, a nonprofit based in South Florida. As founder and CEO, Lauren Book will explain the reach of this organization as it is a big undertaking. Lauren, thank you so much for being here with us this morning and talking to us about this very important issue.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's take it back to the beginning. How was this idea kind of born?
Well, I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse from the time that I was about 10 years old until I was 16. It happened at the hands of my family's female nanny. The abuse went on 365 days a year, 7 days a week. And we talk about a lot that I'm not the typical person that somebody may think this would happen to, right? Because child sexual abuse cuts across all socioeconomic backgrounds, race, religion, it matters not. The greatest risk factor, unfortunately, is being a child. It actually affects 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys before the age of 18. And so from that experience, my family and I decided that we needed to turn this horrific experience into something positive to create generational change for communities throughout the world and here certainly in the state of Florida.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing your story. I know that's something that can be just very personal and hard to go through. So thank you for speaking out, because I think just by telling your story, as you know, you're helping a lot of people. Let's talk a little bit more about the organization. Sure. As we mentioned, it is a huge undertaking. So how do you guys do it?
Well, I think that one of the things that we focus on the most is education and awareness. We know that 95% of sexual abuse is preventable with education and awareness. And so we come from a place of fun and not fear. We don't teach stranger danger. We want kids to be empowered to use their voices, to stay safe in the ways that we educate them. Actually, there is our Safer, Smarter Schools curriculum throughout the state of Florida, being taught in 48 states throughout the country and internationally, because we know we can create a different world where children can advocate for themselves, where they can use their safety stop sign to say, stop, that's not safe, and teach them how to access help. And we know that that makes a difference. We know that in the digital world, where children are required in a lot of ways in spaces and places to engage digitally because of school and everything else that exists in our world. And so teaching them how to navigate that in a safe way, having conversations, teaching parents about those things, teaching youth serving organizations how to have these conversations. We know we can change the tide, and so we work every single day to do that and to help survivors heal and become thriving survivors.
Lauren, a lot of cases go unreported. How do we change that?
I think that is a piece of why we do what we do every day as well, and that is the message that it is okay to tell. I was abused for 6 years before I shared. We know survivors wait many, many, many years oftentimes.
And often, please correct me if I'm wrong, the child thinks it's their fault. It's something that maybe they're doing, or they think it's normal because they don't know anything else.
They carry a tremendous amount of shame, embarrassment, guilt. Survivors keep that secret for a long time and for lots of reasons. And so one of the other things that I feel very strongly about is showing people what a thriving survivor is, what that means, what that looks like, and why the walk is so important.
I want to talk a little bit about Smart Kids curriculum.
Yes.
So what exactly is that?
So Safer, Smarter Kids is our curriculum that is throughout the state of Florida. We are so excited because we, again, know that we can create a difference and a change. We don't teach stranger danger because stranger danger doesn't exist. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me when we hear it, because we know 90% of the time children are abused by someone they know, love, and trust. These are people in their lives every single day. So it's better and safer to teach children to identify behaviors of others that make them feel unsafe, and then how to access help through their grown-up buddies and staying safe in those different ways. And so it's a special thing.
If there's anyone watching this morning, what do we want to tell them if it's someone maybe who's in a situation like this, or just parents, on how they can talk to their kids?
They can learn more from the foundation. Check it out. It's lawrencekids.org, so we can connect you with services at any point in time. It is not your shame, guilt, or embarrassment to carry, that you can become a thriving survivor with guidance and support, and we can connect you with those services throughout the state of Florida. You can receive free services if you are a survivor of sexual assault, which is something that we've worked really hard for with the Florida Council Against Sexual Violence. Learn more about the curriculum at lawrencekids.org. And there's an opportunity for you to engage with us come April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month in April.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot more about that walk coming up in just a few minutes. But what about how long ago did you start the organization?
Longer than I care to think about. It's been decades, actually. From my abuse, actually, when I did disclose, my family and I, my father and I decided that we really wanted to make a difference. And so it's been quite some time now. And it has been a remarkable, special time where we've created a lot of change.
And I was going to say, do you feel that there has been change, there has been progress made?
Absolutely. I think we have really, changed the face of childhood sexual abuse. We've created a culture where people aren't afraid to look at what this is, what this means, that it is not something that needs to live in a corner, that when you shine light in dark places, you can do incredible things. And so I think that we've done a lot of that work. We still have a long way to go. There are a lot of bad guys out there still doing things and changing the way that they do them. And so as a foundation, we work to educate kids and families and adults and community about those things, but also from a policy perspective, how do we create policies to keep people who want to hurt our children away from them?
Well, and like you said, even though there's a lot still to be done, progress is being made, there's change being made, and that is huge.
Yes.
We continue our conversation with Lauren right after this.
WPBF 25 News investigates with Terry Parker.
The question is tonight, how did that drug, cocaine, get inside City Hall?
Impactful.
The marina wasn't on the agenda.
Vigilant.
Was posting that Facebook picture what ended your career?
30 years in the market.
My sources are telling us.
Pursuing justice.
How many times did your agents go around the perimeter?
I'm Terry Parker. Join me every Thursday at 6 for WPBF 25 News Investigates.
Once upon a time, Goldilocks took out the Ram 2500 Rebel. Next, he tried the Ram Charger. Then finally, the Ram RHO. And they were all just right.
Right now, during Ram Truck Month, well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Quad Cab for $369 a month. See your South Florida Ram dealer today.
Our dad, John Morgan, started Morgan & Morgan with a mission to protect the people.
And we've grown into America's largest injury law firm, but we're still a family business at heart.
We've helped millions of families.
Over 2 million families called us last year alone, and we're ready to help you, too.
When you're injured, trust the family that fights for families like yours.
We're not just attorneys, we're a family. After all, it's our legacy.
There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
For the people.
For the families.
The Marcus Neuroscience Institute was formed by the vision of Bernie and Billy Marcus to make sure that members of our community had access to world-class care for problems that affect the nervous system. Our caregivers are exemplary in their ability to feel a patient, know what the whole patient needs, providing the type of care that makes patients better. It changes lives, and there really is no greater incentive or reward than that.
At Ox Floors, we do business different than the other guys. We don't buy our floor coatings from a supply chain or distributor and then resell them. We formulate, test, manufacture, and install our very own floor coatings and sell them direct to you. No middleman. So if you're looking to upgrade your garage, patio, pool deck, or driveway, do what thousands of satisfied Ox customers have done. Buy factory direct and save. Go to oxfloors.com to redeem your 30% manufacturer's rebate.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
Thanks for staying with us. We continue our conversation this morning with Lauren Book, the founder and head of Lauren's Kids. Lauren, again, thank you for being here with us this morning. So in our last segment, we mentioned a walk that's going to be happening the entire month of April. Take us through that.
Well, this is our 10th time walking the entire state of Florida. If I knew 10 years ago we would still be walking all this time, I may have done it a little bit differently. But it is, we start at the southernmost point in Key West and walk all the way to Tallahassee, where true change takes place. Again, April is a significant month. It is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and so we walk the entire state of Florida, 1,500 miles, stopping at child advocacy centers, rape crisis centers, all along the way, teaching people, talking to communities about ways to keep our children safe. And we will be here in this area, we're so excited about it, on April the 6th. We are starting at the Bloomingdale's in Boca, and we're walking all the way north, so it's gonna be a very long day. I think that's a 15 to 20 mile day, so you don't have to walk all 20 miles, but we're very, very excited about being back out on the road and engaging with communities.
And what is that experience like, engaging with people along the way, talking to people? What are just kind of some of the things that you take away from that?
It is a remarkable opportunity, and to do it every year for so many years, you get to see a lot of the same folks come out, which is really special because you watch healing occur over time. And so, you know, on maybe the first or second year, we saw a young girl, for example, who was 6 years old when she was sexually abused by her father. And over the course of the 10 years, watched her become an adult who is married, who has, you watch so much healing, you watch so much change, strength, courage, determination. And we get to see new people all along the way. One year we had a 90-year-old woman whose husband passed away, never talked about the abuse that she suffered as a young individual, but came out and walked. And so you see resilience, you see hope, you see healing. And while on 20-mile days you really need that because it is difficult and it is hot, it does get you through some of those hard times.
And once you get to Tallahassee, what kind of message are you trying to send there?
Well, I think part of the conversation is what we hear on the road and talking to survivors and hearing what are the issues that they're seeing in their communities. What are the things that we need to do from a policy perspective to keep our communities and our state safe? We've done incredible work, but we have a lot, again, as we said in the first segment, a lot more to do. And so we hear a lot of those things and we share those stories with policymakers and lawmakers so that we can create that huge change, which has made Florida a leader in protecting children.
And when it comes to people that want to get involved in the Palm Beaches and on the Treasure Coast, how can they do that?
So they should check out the website, lawrencekidswalk.org, and we again are coming out to walk, so we hope that you will come out and walk with us. We have a very special piece of the walk this year that I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about, and that is our friendship bracelets, and I have actually one here for you to have, which is making the walk a little bit more special this year. Every year we do something different to engage with community and our centers, right? And so this year we paired our child advocacy centers with other child advocacy centers and rape crisis centers throughout the state of Florida together. And so survivors are making friendship bracelets for other survivors throughout the state of Florida. So people know that they are not alone. We have opened it up to everyone. Send us your bracelets. If you are watching this now, send us your bracelets, make them. And this came out of my daughter and I sitting and trying to make something positive for other people. We were getting ready for the Eras tour when that was happening. And so we were making friendship bracelets. And she was talking about how it's such a beautiful thing and makes people smile. And so I thought we should be doing this together to continue to build this community.
And you were saying that it is such a healing process as well for survivors. And I would think that coming together with people who went through a similar experience makes you feel less alone in that moment. You know, this has happened to other people too.
You are 100% right. And I think that that this type of abuse, these types of crimes, make the victims feel so alone. Nobody else could possibly understand what has happened. And when you are given a piece of something made by a child your same age who's been through something similar, you can carry that around with you. And not every day is easy. when you are a survivor of any type of trauma, abuse, things that are going on, you know you take one step forward and 2 steps back, and that's okay. It's okay to have hard times, but having that reminder that someone just like you loves you, cares about you, and is doing the same things you're doing to get to become a thriving survivor, those are those really special things that we are building throughout the state of Florida. And people have sent us bracelets from Ohio, from California, and so we're taking bracelets, we are pairing, and we are so excited to be able to give that to our survivors here in Florida.
How does Lauren's Kids continue on in this fight?
We continue one foot in front of the other every single day. Again, it's really continuing to spread that awareness, that advocacy, educating children in ways that we weren't taught growing up, and developing with where we go, right? Again, we talked about some of those digital-based images, digital-based childhood sexual abuse, abuse. Those are things that we never really had to think about, to look at. And so we are constantly on the front edge of what that is, what that looks like, partnering with other organizations, the Child Rescue Coalition and others, again, so that we're making sure that we are doing everything that we can to make sure that children, adult survivors are getting the things that they need.
Unfortunately, so many more avenues now for these kinds of things to happen. But again, thank you to you and your organization, all the ones out there that are doing all of that, all of what you're doing to kind of get rid of that stigma and to be able to talk about it. And we appreciate your story and your bravery as well. Thank you, Lauren, so much for joining us this morning. After the break, crucial resources for victims of sexual abuse and what loved ones can do to support the survivors in their life.
We could tell you what it's capable of, or you could find out for yourself. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Watch Yasmin Julmis on WPBF 25 News Mornings.
It makes me want to tear up. I swear to God. There ain't no way I would be here without TikTok. I got really good at tearing motors apart and putting them back together, and the car still worked. I received so much support for that, and it made me feel like, okay, maybe I can really, really, really do this. My business has tripled in the last year because of me sharing my videos on TikTok. I wouldn't be able to support the families that work for me now without TikTok, without the increase in sales.
We are proud of our parents. Want to know why? Because they work for the school district of Palm Beach County. There's lots of great jobs with paid vacation, holidays off, healthcare, and retirement. You can be on the same schedule as your kids.
Be there for sports, events, and other special moments.
Come work at the school district of Palm Beach County. You'll see why it's your best choice.
Join us at the Team Palm Beach Schools Job Fair. Register at palmbeachschools.org/job fair.
Life doesn't come with an owner's manual. Freedom is getting to write your own. So get 10% off a Jeep Wrangler or get into a Jeep Grand Cherokee where freedom is on-road or off, where it's a front row seat to the city or a second row seat, maybe even a third. Life doesn't come with an owner's manual, so get out there and write your own.
Right now during the Jeep Celebration event, well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee for $369 a month. See your South Florida Jeep brand dealer today.
The old me was stuck in the daily grind. My routine didn't allow for any self-expression. I found clay, and that changed everything. I realized my calling was to give others the space to be creative, to build something. And that's how Clayton was born. Having a Chase Ink card has allowed us to grow it and bring people together. There's a creative side in all of us. That's what I hope people come here to find.
Earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials with the Chase Ink Business Cash Card from Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours.
We could tell you what it's capable of, or you could find out for yourself. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Welcome back. A key part of combating sexual abuse and helping survivors is knowing the resources that are available. I'm now joined by Nicole Bishop, the Director of Victim Services at the Palm Beach County Division of Victim Services. Nicole, thanks for being here with us this morning. First, can we talk about the work that your agency does?
Yes, absolutely.
Palm Beach County Victim Services is the only certified rape crisis center here in Palm Beach County. So we provide support to all victims of sexual violence, and we do that through a number of ways. One of the things that we do is we provide advocacy. This is so crucial for victims to have someone who they can reach out to talk to help guide them and navigate them through what it is that they're going through. We also have forensic nurses. These nurses are available 24/7 to not only collect evidence, but to provide that crucial medical care that's necessary for victims following a sexual assault. We provide therapy, individual and group therapy services, and then we do a lot of outreach in our community, coordinating the county's sexual assault response team that draws all of the professionals together who work with victims of sexual violence to provide protocols and make sure that everyone's on the same page so that our victims here in Palm Beach County get the care that they need.
So if someone is in a situation like this, what do they do? What is the first phone call that they make?
Well, the very first thing that they do is talk about and think about their own safety. We need to make sure that the person is safe, and so that if they're in immediate danger, then they need to call 911. The second thing that they can do is reach out to call our helpline, and we have advocates on standby 24 hours a day that can help provide them with their options. They can tell them what the different paths look like if they choose to report the crime, if they choose not to report the crime, and just be an ear to listen to what the person has to talk about and really help guide them through the process.
Can you talk a little bit about the statistics in our community and some of the misconceptions that are tied in when it comes to sexual abuse?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. It happens far more common than we would like to imagine. 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted, and 1 in 5 men experience sexual violence at some point in time during their life. And so it happens way more than people would like to imagine.
And unfortunately, shame is attached to that, and they sometimes maybe feel like they won't even be believed, so
Yes.
feel that that's why they can't come forward.
Yes, that's one of the biggest barriers. And then one of the other biggest misconceptions is that this happens from strangers, when in all actuality, it's people that the victim knows. It's a neighbor, a family member, a close friend, a coworker, and these are the people that are perpetrating the sexual violence against others.
If you know someone who, has been a, I don't want to say victim, but a survivor of,
Yes.
of this, as a loved one, as a friend, family member, how can we support that person?
The best way to support that person is just listen and to believe them and let them know that I hear you, I believe you, and also to know about the resources that are available in the community to help guide them to the place that they can get the help it is that they need.
Nicole, you brought up when you were talking about the statistics, we talked about men as well.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of stigma around that as well, that, this cannot happen to a man. It can only happen to a woman, but that's not the case.
No, it is not the case at all. Every person can be a victim of sexual violence, no matter their age, race, socioeconomic status. Unfortunately, anyone can be a victim.
What message do you have to survivors right now who may be watching?
I just want to let survivors know that we are here, you are believed, and what happened to you does not define you. There is hope, there is resilience, and that you can go on to lead a productive life, and just to come forward and let us help you and navigate the way through this.
In your line of work, what are some of the things that you see, that you feel we have made some major progress on, some challenges maybe that were there that we have overcome?
I think that some of the progress that we have made is to make sure that there are resources available. I know that Florida has done a good job making sure that there are rape crisis centers available to individuals throughout the state. There are 24-hour helplines. Our laws provide that these services are always going to be free for victims of sexual violence. And I think that that is something very important to know and to talk about, is that survivors do not have to pay a dime to receive these services, to get advocacy, forensic examinations, medical care, and even care getting prophylactic medication following the assault to prevent STDs and things of that nature.
So again, you said if you are in immediate danger, that first phone call is 911, but if they're looking for resources, they can contact the helpline at Palm Beach County Division of Victim Services.
That's correct.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here.
We'll be right back.
Enhance your view with ArmorView Window and Door. From window replacements to entry and patio doors, save on your energy bills, reduce unwanted noise, and stay storm safe. The choice is crystal clear. Choose the experts at ArmorView. Get 33% off when you schedule your free in-home consultation today.
WPBF 25 First Warning Weather, most accurate for 12 years.
Electricity powers everything we do in Florida. You deserve a power company that delivers reliable electricity every single day. At FPL, our crews have undergrounded more power lines, installed stronger poles, and built a smarter, more resilient grid to deliver reliable electricity where you need it, when you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
I'm Jill Hazy.
And I'm Erin Burns.
We invite you to join us this Sunday for Total Retirement with Ernie Burns, where we'll discuss wealth management, estate planning, and more.
Ernie was named 2022's Forbes Best In-State Security Professional. You don't want to miss it.
Everyone knows Stanley Steamer is the one to call for professional cleaning. But did you also know we're the ones to call in a water emergency? With a fleet of over 3,000 vans, we get there fast, 24/7. Our certified technicians remove the water you can see and the water you can't. They thoroughly test every area and document it all for your insurance company. We hope this never happens to you, but if it does, call 1-800-STEAMER.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Oh, what is that musty smell?
Oh, damp.
Damp. Oh, damp.
Hey, language.
Damp Rid traps excess moisture to eliminate musty smells. Get rid of the damp with Damp Rid.
I never thought I'd buy flooring from a service I saw on TV. It's just not me. But I heard great things about National Floors Direct. Name brand flooring, great installation, and an amazing price guarantee.
At National Floors Direct, we offer next-day installation of beautiful name-brand carpet and luxury flooring, and will beat anyone's price by 15% or it's free. Call 888-400-FLOOR.
I saved $2,000 off my best quote and no interest for 1 year.
Call National Floors Direct at 888-400-FLOOR. We bring the store to your door.
Enhance your view with ArmorView Window and Door. From window replacements to entry and patio doors, save on your energy bills, reduce unwanted noise, and stay storm safe. The choice is crystal clear. Choose the experts at ArmorView. Get no interest, no payments for 12 months or affordable monthly payments when you call today.
Thank you for making us a part of your morning. As always, we encourage you to be part of our discussion each and every Sunday right here at 10 a.m. Until then, you can watch this morning's On the Record and every episode on our website, WPBF.com, and our free WPBF 25 News app. Matter of Fact with Soledad O'Brien is next. We'll see you again next Sunday.